And we're live. Welcome everyone to the Conversations with Shawna show. And thank you for those of you who are joining us live. Say hi. And for those of you who are catching us on the replay, give us a hashtag replay so we can come in and say hi later. And for those of you, if you have not met me yet, my name is Shawna Roche, and I'm a mindset and success coach, founder of the Aligned Selling Method. And I help heart-centered female entrepreneurs to overcome their fear of selling so that they can confidently sell in a way that feels as easy as having a conversation. And today we have a guest interview. I'm excited, of course, like I always am. And I've invited to join me here is Tara Henderson. And Tara is a registered clinical hypnotherapist and a newly certified Reiki level 2 practitioner. And Tara's building her business, and her goal is to help as many people as she can heal. She wants more people to know how amazing their life can be with hypnotherapy and how easy you can heal anything that's holding you back. She also helps people heal from their traumas, including childhood trauma, which is her specialty, as she has gone through it herself. And I highly recommend working in this area to remove symptoms that are holding you back. And there's so many other areas Tara works in. So join me in welcoming her today as our guest. So welcome, Tara. And I would love for you to share a little bit more about yourself.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I highly appreciate it. It's great to be able to get the news across and out there on social media because, well, that's where everyone is nowadays. So it's really great. It's a great platform to be able to provide the information, especially for like these interviews, just giving people information for free. Because, a lot of the time people are worried that they're going to be charged when they do a consult or whatever it is. So being able to do these interviews and lives to just keep sharing and spreading the message of healing, because we all need it, especially now, especially in this time. So I've been in hypnotherapy for almost 2 years. I really love what I do. It's kind of helped me grow and become the person I needed to be for my family, for myself. And I really don't know what I would have done if I wouldn't have had a hypnotherapist myself. So just a little bit of a background. I was in a marriage where it was probably over for a really long time. And at the time, I didn't quite want to probably face it, and nor did I understand what was going on with me. I was kind of in a bit of a depression. I had anxiety almost every day. And as with most people with these kind of symptoms, not knowing what it is or why it's there, I did end up turning to alcohol. So it helped me cope, which then turned into a habit. And without realizing it, I was using alcohol basically to feel better or to mask the feelings that I was feeling. And that's the problem with society, is sometimes we don't understand that why these feelings are coming up for us. Maybe we're angry, we have anxiety or whatever it is, or depression, especially this time of year. It's like, well, why is it coming up for me? And most of us, we just mask it by, binge watching TV, eating too much, or drinking alcohol, or whatever it is for you. And that is the norm. Like we normalize these things, and we think it's just what you do. When you have a bad day, you have a drink. And it's like, well, starting to learn that isn't actually normal, and really trying to realize why these feelings are coming up for us, where they're coming from. So this is one of the things that I've had to learn along my path, and it doesn't come overnight. Of course, it takes me a while. But yeah, just learning the things that are causing us to feel this way, and instead of masking them, is really going in deep and finding why they're coming up for us. So it took me a long time, obviously, to get where I am, but without my hypnotherapist to show me these things, which I teach my clients now, I would have had no idea. I probably would still be drinking to mask the things. I would not know why I had anxiety, because everyone just assumes anxiety is just a feeling, but it's not. And anxiety usually comes up because there's something that we're not aware of. It could be a trigger from childhood. It could just be something in our current life that we're not enjoying, and we just don't understand that it's causing us to feel a certain way. So most people go along their lives assuming that anxiety is normal, and that it's okay to have, and it's really not. And these are the stigmas that I'm out here to try to spread the word about, is you don't have to live your life with anxiety all the time, or you don't need to feel like you need to drink all the time to mask these feelings and to feel normal, because that is the opposite, actually. So it's just I try to teach people through the things like Shawna mentioned. Is I really believe that it's hard to teach people things if you haven't experienced it. So I really try to to tell my clients that, because it makes you feel better knowing if you have a therapist that really hasn't had anxiety before and yet they're treating you for it, it just feels odd.
Yeah.
So I really like to come down to earth with my clients and let them know that I've been down there and
Mhm.
there is a way out. And hypnotherapy is incredible because it can approach so many different things, different feelings, different emotions, traumas, whatever it is that you're going through. And so childhood is one of my specialties, and so is addiction. So addiction is so huge. It can be anything. It could be food, it can be alcohol, it could be cigarettes, and then it could be just negativity. Is like having an addiction to feeling the negativity all the time. It's an addiction, or allowing people in your life to make you feel negative. Like this is also addiction.
Right.
So whatever it is, it's such a vast field that I like to try to cover. But just I like people to know that I've been there, I've done it, I get you, and like I want people to know that there's a way out, and that you don't have to feel this way all the time.
Mhm.
So that's what I really love about my job, and that's kind of how I came to it. Again, so I ended up uh, getting separated from my ex-husband, and that kind of made me grow as a person, because I think, for nothing against him, but I was kind of stagnant for a while, and I knew I was yearning for something, but I didn't know how to get there. And it's really hard when you're feeling anxiety or you're drinking all the time. Like, how are you supposed to grow? Because you've got this blockage, this barrier from your self growth. So after I separated from my ex husband, it was kind of like it needed to happen. And it finally did, and it kind of freed me in a sense. It allowed me to feel what I needed to feel, and then to see what I needed to do as a person and where I needed to be. So that's been pretty amazing, the growth that I've had in the last 2 years, when I started my schooling and then practicing. And then it's funny because we really attract clients that are usually have been through what we've been through for those reasons. So I get a lot of the people that I specialize in, and it makes me feel so good, and it fills my heart to be able to help them, especially because I've been there,
Yeah.
and I can relate. And when my clients have a release, I should say, of the anxiety or feelings, and know that they can move forward, it's so incredible to watch. Um, so yeah, I really love my job, and a lot of people just still aren't sure about hypnotherapy. It's pretty new.
Mhm.
But I really believe that in the next 5 years, it's going to be like everything else. It's going to be like natural path. Like in the past, it was kind of looked upon as woo woo, or like it seems strange. But nowadays, most people are choosing natural paths over MDs.
Yes.
So just because we want to be more holistic, and instead of going the big pharma route. So
Exactly.
I do believe that it is almost hand in hand. And actually, yeah, there's a couple clinics here that I have one that actually recommends my services alongside of theirs being the naturopath, because they can do a lot of things with supplements and etc. But if it's like childhood trauma or addiction problems, I mean, there's only so much that a naturopath can prescribe you to try to work through that when it's deep inner core problems. So I really love that. And as I say, I have a naturopath clinic here that I work with, and they refer clients. So that's really cool, because then you're getting the supplements and you're doing the things that you need to do to get your body working at its highest function. But then you're also having someone to come help you deal with the subconscious beliefs.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I just, again, spreading the word and
Yeah.
allowing people to understand that there's nothing weird about it. It's not woo woo. I'm not a witch. It's really, if you know anything about the subconscious mind, and once you realize what hypnotherapy is, it makes all the sense. Um, and most people meditate nowadays too. So this is another thing as well, is like hypnotherapy and meditation is quite similar.
Mhm.
And this is the best way to describe it. So when I put someone into hypnosis, this is a trance, and a trance is just like a state of meditation.
Mhm.
And most people are in a waking hypnosis on a daily basis, and they have no idea about this. So when you're driving to and from somewhere that you go to often, say from work or whatever, and sometimes you get there and you think, how the heck did I get here? I don't even remember. Like, it's scary. You're like, oh
That
my
used to
God,
happen all the time to me because I drove
yes,
72 kilometers to work, and it was like on a highway, and then Deerfoot in Calgary, and
yep,
all the time. So I can totally relate about What you
Okay,
just said?
so then, and most of us were just like, oh, that's weird, but whatever. You don't really think anything about it. Well, that is called a state of waking hypnosis. So because your brain is so used to you taking the same route and you kind of go on autopilot.
Yeah.
So it's a state of waking hypnosis. It's also the same as when you're watching a movie and you're really like engaged and you think at that moment nothing else around you could bother you in that surrounding. If you're really into the movie, like, you know, loud noises might happen, you're still watching the movie, or you end the movie and you're like, oh my God, like that was like where did 3 hours go? I didn't even have a thought. And it's the same. It's because your brain kind of goes on autopilot. And it's the same with hypnosis. So I'll put you in a state of hypnosis and you're not going to really hear the outside world. Like you'll hear the sounds, but it doesn't really bother you. And you'll realize that you're only thinking about one thing. So generally it'll be what we're talking about. So you're only hearing my voice and nothing else. So it's basically a where you're less distracted is the best way I can describe it. And we're so busy with everything nowadays in this world. We're overstimulated. We're on the screens all the time, or whatever it is. It's really hard to shut off for most people. So really, it's like a relief to go into hypnosis. So all I'm doing is taking you into a guided meditation. That's basically the start of a hypnosis. So
Mhm.
I'm walking you through. I'm taking you to a quiet beach, going down a beautiful set of stairs. And through that, you're just getting really relaxed. You're feeling really good. You're closing off the outside world and you're just listening to my voice. So that's where we can do a lot of work because now at this point, you have no outside stimuli distracting
Mhm.
you. And whatever it is that you're coming to me for, we can work on that problem and nothing else is going to interfere. So it's the best way to describe it is it's just like a really relaxed state where you can focus on one thing at a time. And it's incredible the kind of work that you can do when you have no outside distraction and no ego interrupting you on a conscious basis.
Yeah.
So most people have no idea about the ego, right? Like most people, they associate their thoughts with their feelings. And most of the time, people have never been told that most of your thoughts aren't actually your feelings. Those are just thoughts. They're just your ego. It's just talking. It's always talking.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's not for you. Like I always say, the brain is so smart and it can do so many things, but it's most of the time it's against us. And it's so wild because it's like, why is it fighting against me so much all the time? So when people start to understand that that's actually not you, it's just your ego, it makes so much more sense. And when you go into the subconscious mind, your ego can't interrupt you. So that's why it makes it so beneficial to do the work, to do the fixing of the things, because on a conscious level, you'll have the ego interrupting you all the time. Questioning what you're doing. So that's the best way to describe it, as well as why hypnosis is so powerful and so successful is because when you're in that subconscious mind, you don't have all that outside chatter, the monkey brain, the monkey chatter, and the ego interrupting what you want to do. So you can get to things a lot quicker.
Mhm. That's so powerful right there. Like what you just like nailed it right there in a nutshell. Because
Yeah.
it so is because yeah, our monkey mind, right? It's just going and going and going. And I love it because I love that you explained it that way too. Like it's like that little trance where you're relaxing, where you can go where that's just I'm like,
It's incredible. And even for some people that like maybe they're not ready to do some trauma work, maybe they're not ready to do the healing because a lot of people will come to me, but they're not quite ready. And that's okay. So sometimes just starting, I do something which is also called a relaxed hypnosis. So like you don't have to come to me and do work. Like sometimes I have one client that sees me regularly and some days she doesn't feel like doing the work because I mean it's hard, right? Like especially when you have inner work to do, you might cry or it might take it out of you. So she'll say, I don't feel like crying today. So, and it's like, that's cool. So then we'll just do a relaxed hypnosis. So that's literally where I just put you in a really relaxed state. You go to the beach, you just feel really good, and I take you out. And it's just that simple. And you don't have to do work all the time, but it's a matter of us leaving behind the outside world and taking a minute because a lot of people have a tough time shutting off. I know I do even still. So that's what's really cool about hypnotherapy. It doesn't have to always be about fixing problems. It's just about going inward and relaxing and just feeling good because sometimes it's hard to do that,
mhm.
especially, you know, with so many things going on around us all the time. We always feel like I don't know, like I'm one of those people where I can't nap because I just have a really tough time shutting off in the day.
Me too.
Yeah, and like
Mhm.
it's just impossible for me. I might lay there and rest,
Yeah.
and that's important, but I
Yeah.
can't fully shut my brain off. So when I go into hypnosis, it's kind of like, oh, it's like a fresh of breath air because I can let go. And like even if I don't want to sometimes, I just do because your body is just like, okay, it's time now and it's listening and it's time to relax. So again, whether it's about healing or if it's just about taking some time to relax and have nothing to do is the greatest gift about hypnotherapy. So many different things you can use it for. And I just think it's such an incredible gift and more people need to give it a try and just really like understand what it is and not be scared of it. Cause I know that I was talking to my lash lady yesterday and she had mentioned like we talk about she knows what I do and she is always interested, but she said, you know, Tara, I gotta tell you the honest truth. And I said, yeah, of course I want to hear it. She's like, I'm just scared. And I said, really? Like, why is that? And she's like, well, you know, I'm just scared that it's like mind control. And you know, this is the thing, the people, the stigma is, you know, yeah, back in the day, I'm sure that there was some crazy hypnotherapists that maybe did some weird stuff. I mean, it's like any other spiritual modality, any other heal, like there's always going to be one person that messes it up. Like that's just the way it is. We're human. There's always going to be someone that does things that they're not supposed to do. But that
We
being said,
the TV shows and stuff where you've seen hypnosis, like where people go under hypnosis and then all of a sudden they're like walking around like a duck or doing all these crazy,
yes,
they're taking their clothes off. So I can see why, you know, because that's the whole entertainment side of it, right? So I can see
exactly.
why it freaks people out. So yeah, let's talk about some of these myths that are out there.
Yeah. So one of the biggest myths, so a hypnotist is what you refer to. So in other words, a hypnotist is more generally for the most time that I've ever heard of them or see it is an entertainment purpose. So the type of work that a hypnotist does and a hypnotherapist, you can imagine even the wording itself is quite different.
Yeah.
So the schooling is longer. So what I went to school longer and I learn about healing. A hypnotist is for purely entertainment. That is what they do. They hypnotize people to do silly things. They usually do large groups, stage audience, weddings, grads. Like I get so many of my clients that will come to me and they'll be like, oh, well, I've done hypnotherapy. I had a hypnotist at my grad. And it's like, well, it's actually not the same, but it's similar in the sense they do put you into a trance of hypnosis, but the intention is different,
Yeah.
right? So they're doing it to be fun and silly and they're not going in to change and reprogram your thoughts. Like it's just not a thing. So very different. And that's the misconception that I get frequently. Just because you've been to a hypnotist and maybe you weren't hypnotized in the audience does not mean that you can't be now. Because I get a lot of people that, oh, I didn't get hypnotized in the audience by the hypnotist. Yeah, it's just different. Like if you think about it, one-on-one versus 25 people in an audience, very different. And then again, yes, I take my job pretty seriously. I value what those people do, and I would never downplay anyone's job. Obviously, they got into it for a reason. They probably really love it. However, I do not hypnotize people to do things that they don't want to do.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you're right. That is the misconception. But the funny thing about that still again is no one can actually, it's like a rule of thumb. It's like a universal like law. You cannot be hypnotized unless you want to. Like
Ah.
it's just a universal law. Like your subconscious mind will just not let it happen. So
Mhm.
if you're like no no no, it actually won't happen. So that's why I really need when people come to me, it's like is someone forcing you to come or is this for you? Especially when it comes to quit smoking. Is it a
Mhm.
partner forcing you to quit smoking or do you want to quit smoking? Because that's really important. Because if you don't actually want to quit, you're not going to quit.
You know what? I just want to stop here for a sec because this is so powerful what you just said. Like, oh my God, if you think about that with any addiction, whether it's drinking, whether it's smoking, whether it's food, whatever it is, that is like right there is like the money phrase.
Yep.
Because it's like if anybody else is wanting you to stop doing this and you're doing it for them, not for you, and you don't want to do it, but that wow.
Yeah, so that is something to think about. And I will, especially because I
Ah,
find it's like a cliche, as most partners, message me and they're like, oh, I want my partner to quit smoking. And I'm like, but do they want to quit smoking or do you want them to quit smoking? Because it's a huge thing because they won't quit and then you're just wasting your money. So, but again, this is a valuable thing. So if you're coming, you want to try hypnosis, but you actually don't really want to try it, you're probably not going to go in. And so this is what I tried. And so this is what I told my last girl. I said, honestly, like, you wouldn't be hypnotized if you didn't want to. And the thing about that, again, is you would never do or say anything that you never want to. Because it's, again, you're in control of your mind, your body. This is wrong. There is no mind control. I mean, damn, I said to her, I really wish I had those skills, but I don't. Like, I don't know where you go to school to get these magical mind control skills, but yeah, I certainly don't have them. Is it a gift? I don't know. I think it's kind of funny because it is jokingly, like, really, like, but and people have these thoughts. So like, that's where I want to clear this up. This myth is like, you actually have control. So at any point, maybe I'm like, so what's your bank code? They're not going to tell me. Like, that is not a thing. So I always tell people, like, you're not going to tell me your deepest, darkest secrets unless you want to. So now maybe those deepest, darkest secrets you want to heal, then you're going to tell me about them. But if you're not ready, you're not going to tell me. So knowing that just because you're in hypnosis, you're not going to do or say anything you don't want to. So let's just clear that up, take that away. So now you feel comfortable knowing that everything you do is up to you. And to make people understand, it's like a guided meditation. So I'm not telling you anything. I'm asking you where you want to go, and I'm just guiding you there, and you do all the work. The client does all the work. So if you're wanting to go deal with anxiety, so then we bring up when you had anxiety last, how that made you feel, and then we say, where did it come from? And I follow that. So this is me guiding you. I'm not telling you what you felt when you felt it. You're telling me that. So really, at the end of the day, a hypnotherapist's job is to listen. I'm just guiding you and listening, and you're doing all the work. So really, that's what I want people to understand. There's nothing scary about it. You go to a counselor, they ask you why you're feeling that way, you answer, and then you continue on with the therapy that way. It's very similar in hypnosis, except the difference is you're in a relaxed state where you feel comfortable, calm, and you have no outside stimuli. So it's easier. And you go to the root cause faster versus when you go to a counselor you have never met before and they're saying, go back to your childhood abuse. You're probably not going to go back there or want to talk about it. But when you're in hypnosis, you feel comfortable, relaxed, and then you have nothing else judging you, your ego blocking you. You can actually go into that core moment and do some healing work. So that's a difference. And I again never downplay. I love counselors. Everyone's important. If you want to couple any sort of therapy with hypnotherapy, like counseling, psychotherapy, I think that is very valuable to have different types of things. But the thing again about normal counseling and talk therapy, you're not actually going into the subconscious mind. You're not going to the root. Okay. So when we think of a problem, it's the root cause. So yes, you might do some healing on the surface of how you're feeling and maybe get some tools and tips to like function in an everyday capacity. But the problem is we're not going back to when it happened. And most people don't know. Most people have no idea of why it started. Yeah, I have generalized anxiety, but why? I mean, I thought it was because I have a stressful life, but most of the time it's because somewhere in childhood you took on a belief about something and now it's coming forth today as an adult and being re-triggered. So that's what I like to tell people. You probably would have no idea. Most of the time I take people back and they're like, oh my God, I had no idea that when I went to the dance studio when I was 5 and I felt ashamed of my body, now I have body dysmorphia or whatever. Like, it's so unrelated most of the time that I get clients come to me for very opposite things and find out it was something else. So just knowing that that's the great thing about hypnotherapy is that we're going back to the root cause.
Well, and I love that you brought that up too, because that's so powerful. Because in some cases too, like you said, your client could be coming to you thinking, okay, this is the issue, and here's what, this problem, or go back into childhood. But when you take them there, all of a sudden, because they're open to it, it can be something totally different. And then bringing that up and healing that can be like, oh my God, like I've been struggling with this for years and I had no idea because I thought it was this, but yet it was this.
Well, this is why I try to say to people.
Powerful.
So it is funny. to ask people why they come to me, but most of the time I keep it in the back of my mind that it's not a sure thing, because most of the time it's not. And that's cool. And sometimes it's weird, like anxiety comes up, but really you go back to childhood and it was actually like anger. So it's weird because the feeling and symptom in this day may not be the same reason why it started. So this is why it is so incredible for people to understand the difference between, say, talk therapy, one-on-one conscious level therapy versus unconscious therapy, where you are bringing up things that you had no idea what were even coming up or surfacing about. So yeah, and that's the biggest thing, is what I try to teach people is, yes, recognizing how you're feeling about, however, so anxiety is happening lately. Okay, so let's look at that. Why is the anxiety coming up for you? When is it coming up for you? Maybe you're being triggered specifically on a certain event each time. Maybe it's a person. So I really tell my clients to write it down, like start picking up when it's happening. So, okay, I have anxiety every single day. Well, when is it coming up each day? Like what time of the day? What am I doing? Why is it coming up? Is there someone triggering it? Is it triggered from a past feeling or experience? Because these are really crucial, especially when you're trying to heal it. And when you start noticing these things, it makes it easier to dissect why it's coming up for you, and then learning how to decide how you want to respond and feel. So I think it's incredible, and it's helped me a lot of the time. Like I said, I used to have anxiety probably every day. Sometimes it'd be at a 10. And now I rarely have it. The odd time I will have it for like normal reasons. Maybe I have something coming up I'm anxious about, or maybe there's something I'm going to do I've never done before. It makes me a bit anxious. I'll get anxiety. And then, but now I can recognize it. So I've gone so far and done the work that I can recognize, and then I can dissect what is going on versus allowing myself to go through it. So most of us nowadays, we have all these things, these depressions, these feelings of anger, etc. And we love to go into it. We're like, oh, we're so angry, and like, let's ride that anger wave. And it's like, but like, where's that going to get you?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
this is what we have to learn, is how, if you want to stop feeling that way, you're going to have to start putting these tools in place, and you're going to really have to start identifying why the feelings, emotions are coming up for you. And like, obviously it will start by maybe seeing someone of expertise, a therapist of whatever kind, and that will help you kind of differentiate, oh my God, I can't even say that word right now. Okay, anyways, you know what I mean.
Differentiate.
See, it's a hard word. So noticing the feelings, but being able to dissect them, and then also allowing yourself to notice the feelings, but not feel them. Because we always think that, well, a feeling, emotion comes up and we must have to feel it. And it's like, no, you can choose to feel however you want. And this is another great thing that I've learned through the many hypnotherapists that I've learned from, is like, recognizing the feeling does not mean you have to be in it. Like, if you don't want to feel anxious anymore, then stop feeling it. Decide what you want to feel, and follow that feeling. Shoo the anxiety away, because there's no reason to feel that way. Start dissecting the problem. And I always say, look for solutions. So if something's triggering you and bringing up these awful anxiety feelings, then you need to start looking inward and probably getting some sort of therapy to work through whatever's coming up for you, or past stuff that you need to heal that's coming up for you. Because most of the time when we start doing the inner work, all these other things start solving themselves. It's incredible. So, like I say, like, I used to have anxiety all the time. I started to believe that that was just the way that I had to live. And then, I don't have it anymore, because I was able to go inside and start doing the healing work, and dealing with these traumas that I've been carrying around, and baggage, I should say. I love to say that, like, carrying the baggage around that's causing me to feel that way. So once you start healing it, all of a sudden those outside feelings and emotions and yucky things that we think we need to feel all the time, they just start disappearing slowly. And one day you're like, holy, I haven't had anxiety in like a year. Like, how good does that feel?
Yeah. That's so beautiful and so powerful to be able to go there, heal it, and then just let it go.
Well, and this is another thing too, is about letting go. Is like, I really feel like people also need to start doing this more, as we love to carry around this hurt, these feelings, because, well, this happened in my childhood, or my parents did this to me. But you know what? Let it go. Like, your parents did the best that they could with what they were given. We forget that as parents, as our parents, they were only doing the best that they could with the tools that they were given. So
Exactly. I say that all the time. Yeah.
it's huge because I use that a lot in hypnosis is when people are doing childhood trauma work.
Mhm.
I usually bring their parent there and then they do some healing, forgiving, letting go, and then just understanding that your parent, they were only doing the best that they could with what they were given. And what 90% of the time people are just like, it's like an aha moment. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? You're right. And they can move past it then because understanding, and most people that are listening to this that have kids, we get it. We're not perfect all the time. I still you do these things that my parents did to me that I thought was atrocious, but guess what? Sometimes it happens because it happened when I was a kid. So, but allowing myself to notice that and let it go and know that again, I'm not perfect
Yeah.
and neither was your parent or your parent's parent. And that's why also bringing forth is understanding these stuff and then trying to break that connection and cycle.
Yeah.
Breaking the cycle that our parents did to just because your parents did that to you doesn't make it okay to do it to your children. But you won't know if you don't notice it and get the help and start working on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's so powerful because yes, it is about breaking that cycle.
So huge. And I
And
mean, I could talk about that all day long because
yeah.
my parents love me. My parents never, ever would have done anything to me to harm me. Like they're great parents, but they just didn't have the tools
Yeah.
at the time to do the things that they needed to do. And unfortunately, yeah, I have quite a bit of childhood trauma about it. But you know what? I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of letting go. I've done
Mhm.
a lot of healing in those memories. And again, it's not about blame. It's about me now. It's about me now letting go of those feelings of feeling like they hurt me because I can't carry
Yes.
that on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to be a good parent to my kids. So now this is a huge thing is like we just all need to start letting go of all this hurt and allowing the space to heal because until you start letting go, you're not going to heal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just get rid of it. So however that is, there's lots of people out there that have so much experience and knowledge that can help people move forward. And a lot of people just don't get that now. They're like, they have a hard time believing that they could be different, that they don't have to feel this way every single day. Or
Mhm.
or they have a tough time believing that someone can relate to them or that
Yeah.
they've been through it. Cause like, you know, most people think, oh, therapist or a counselor, there's no way that they've ever, you know, been down in the dumps or had an addiction or anxiety. It's hard to believe that these people have done that. So I would say stop putting people on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Like we all have problems and we're all working through them. And that is the point.
Yeah. Well, and typically, like when I teach, like in my selling, I teach about your aligned client, and they are a version of you.
Oh, 100%.
So it's
I
like,
agree
and
that.
that's where you work so well together, right? And you can help.
Yes.
They are a version of you. And I was just, when I was in San Diego, we were talking about putting together your avatar. And I was sitting with a gentleman and we were sitting there having a conversation. And he was writing some things down and we were talking back and forth about it. And then he started making a few comments. And I'm like, well, was that something you experienced? And he's like, yeah. And we went through all this stuff. And I'm like, see, they're a version of you. And he's like, oh my God, I've never heard it that way before. And
Oh,
I'm like, yeah,
totally.
they
I
totally are.
totally believe that. So the more healing you do, and that's why we look at all these other things that they say, like the 5 people you hang around, you'll be most successful, like, or you'll be like,
Yeah.
excuse me. Yeah, they're just all these different things that when you start to think about it and look at your life, you're like, oh, wow, like that is so true. And I get it now because I never understood niche marketing. I was like, I don't get it. Like, how are you supposed to pick one thing? But, you know, now as I go along my journey, it's like, okay, well, childhood trauma, addictions. Well, yeah, because I've been through that and I get it and I know the struggle. And so these are the people that come to me now. So you attract your tribe very quickly of the people that you need to help because you've been there.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so cool.
Oh my God, Tara, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. And so I put you in the comments here, I put your website. So
Perfect.
www.hypnoticpower.ca. And that's where
Yep.
people can get in touch with you and book sessions and everything like that.
Absolutely. And I'm always like, I'm really trying to also spread the word because I know therapy can be expensive. I've been there. I've been there. Like my hypnotherapist at the time was $250 a session. And it
Yeah.
sounds like a lot. And you're like, how am I going to make this work? So I really try to make it affordable. Like I have prices on my website, but I'm always open to changing them. So everyone has a different circumstance or situation and I'm always open to hearing that. I also do payment plans because I don't believe that people can just pay this big chunk, it's overwhelming. So I'm always willing to work it out. I have package deals for sessions. I am a pay per session person, so we work it out. So it's never like worrying. I want people to know that healing is accessible and not like for people that just have money. Like that's not a thing. And let's take that out of our mind. It is out there for you to achieve, and you don't have to have $1 million to do it.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. And so,
Thank
like
you.
all you listening, like go to Tara's website, check her out. And thank you so much for being here live with us today, Tara. And I'll get you
Absolutely.
And for everybody else, if you have any comments, you can go ahead and reach. If you're on the replay, let us know. Like I said, Tara's website's in here, so you can connect with her. And thank you again so much. This has been wonderful. I've learned a lot.
Yeah, of course. And well, this is the thing. All the information needs to be spread.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate you having here and sharing your gifts with everyone here in Powerhouse Women Group and on my business page. And yeah, I look forward to talking to you again soon in the future. And to everybody else, have a wonderful Wednesday afternoon, and we'll see you soon. I believe in you, and I believe in your success. Take care.